Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
All right, I said it was on the list. Do this real quick. There he is, number 9. The Donald buys the flagship. And notice I put the text in the Chucky typeface because that's how I feel. He was a serial killer for anything he touched. So there you go. Anyway, yes, Donald was involved at Raw. He presented, and you know what? It's his fault we have 3-hour Raws, if you really think about it. We can blame him for that. Not AJ Lee, who became the GM. Not Vince, who announced it. No, it's all Donald Trump's fault. We have to deal with that 3rd-hour bullshit every week. Looking at you, Trump. Anyway, if you weren't at Home Alone 2, I would have no use for your damn ass. Anyway, I said what I said.
I was going to say, I mean, he helped a lost kid in New York. Like,
it was his own hotel. They wouldn't let him use it unless he was in the movie. He's a selfish prick. All right, anyway. Do not get me going, Jay. It's a new year, damn it. I'm trying to behave.
And then he was in The Little Rascals as the rich kid's father. Like,
that was the one time I wanted to beat that little kid in the face. He was really cute on Full House, but I wanted to smack that kid in his head in the Little Rascals movie. Because he was taking Darla away from Alfalfa. Little spoiled little shit. And no wonder, look who his dad is. And he still had worse hair than the kid, which was a feat to behold in that movie. He had worse hair than Alfalfa. Anyway, all right, I'm done. I promise, maybe. All right.
Did he have worse hair than Buckwheat?
Yes. The original Buck. He had worse hair than Eddie Murphy Buckwheat, and they shot that fool. All right, anyway. All right. Are you good now? You got me upset about Donald Trump on my first show.
You know what? I
was
just right. I said that you could say what you wanted to say about him during my little dissertation, but then you ended up keep being quiet. So I'm just letting you get it out here, okay?
Okay, good.
I'm feeding the system so you can get it out.
Yeah. I got 360 something days to go here in this friggin' year. I got to behave here. Okay.
Oh my God.
Can we take a moment here to praise Margaret Hamilton's Wicked Witch?
Yes.
Because, I mean, you want to talk about OG Karen.
Right.
Like,
damn it.
Elvira Gulch, the Wicked Witch, was the original Karen.
Yes.
For real.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, go back and rewatch the Kansas scenes before Oz.
Yes, the sepia scenes are everything, man. Oh my God.
Her and that witch role. It is one of the few episodes of Sesame Street that is a lost episode. Because when she appeared on the street in the outfit, she terrified the kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder making another appearance, Kenny Rogers, Tina Turner, Steve Perry, Huey Lewis, who would go on and tell us about the power of love.
That's right.
Cyndi Lauper making another appearance, Bob Dylan, Ray Charles, and yes, first name listed on the single there, Dan Aykroyd.
That's right.
Because why not? Why not have Dan Aykroyd in this freaking song? I mean, I guess if we can have freaking LaToya Jackson on this, I guess we can have Dan Aykroyd.
Man, poor LaToya. She gets so much shit.
I'm sorry. She is the most useless member of that family.
Oh my God. We are not being charitable to her on the charity show whatsoever. Anyway,
no disrespect, seriously intended. Don't take my ha-ha for seriousness. But I'm just saying, like, when you put her up against freaking Michael and Janet and Jermaine and Tito and even Marlon and Randy. ... Latoya.
She got Paul Roman.
She did.
You got straight Paul Roman right now in
She
front of the world.
did. But you know what Paul Roma has that Latoya Jackson doesn't have?
What's that?
Paul Roma was a horseman.
That's right. Exactly.
And then you think about people that got left out. And this is part of why I give Dan Aykroyd and Latoya Jackson so much shit over this song, okay?
Okay.
John Denver wanted to be part of this, but they thought he was that corny country guy.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
But Dan Aykroyd and Latoya Jackson are part of this.
Hey, Dan Aykroyd was a legitimate rock star and a hell of a singer.
You know what? But let's be serious for a minute.
100% serious, John
Total
Denver.
Landstorm here. Can I be serious for a minute?
That's right. That's right.
John Denver's too hokey, but Dan Aykroyd is there. The same guy that was just in Ghostbusters.
I know.
And you're telling me that he's not hokey, cheesy for this. That Dan Aykroyd is going to bring some serious name recognition to this. You'd convince me a little easier, retro booking being what it is, let's not jump all over me for saying this man's name. You'd convince me a little easier if it was Bill Cosby. Hot on the heels of the Cosby Show at the time.
That's fair. That's fair.
You want an actor that's going to bring some name recognition? Dan Aykroyd?
Well, yes, it was fresh after Ghostbusters,
Eddie
but
Murphy.
Okay. Yeah.
Still on SNL, I think, or just coming off of SNL.
I think still on. Either way. There's definitely names that, hindsight being what it is, definitely belong there, and names that don't.
I just had an epiphany.
I saw you had that. Yes.
I just had an epiphany, and for those of you watching like my dad might do, forgive me for the comparison here. This album for Will Smith was the Beatles coming to America. You think about it, we had just come off of the murder and deaths of Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
And here was Big Will telling us it's okay to have fun again. The Beatles' first album dropped November of 1963.
Oh, wow, that's right.
Just after the assassination of President Kennedy.
That's a good point.
Beatlemania hit the stateside February of 64.
Yes.
Just months after the assassination of President Kennedy.
Good call.
And Beatlemania was all about it's okay, we can have fun again.
Wow.
Think about the early Beatles songs. I Want to Hold Your Hand. She Loves You. All My Lovin'. Very poppy in nature. We obviously would get deeper as they went on in their career, but
right.
It was all that bubblegum, poppy, fun type of music.
Right.
That's what this album was for hip hop.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we lost Biggie Smalls. We lost Tupac Shakur. California Love, New York Represent. Philadelphia is going to pick up the ball. We're going to party again.
Good
stuff. We're going to get jiggy with it. Everything after this album slowly started to taper off.
Right.
Because we were in a different era. This album came out the year before DMX rose to prominence.
Yep.
It was the year before Eminem broke out.
Yep.
It was a couple years before 50 Mania and Ja Rule.
Yep.
Jay-Z was still getting his feet wet. He had mild success.
Yes.
But The Life and Times of Sean Carter Volume 2 was 1998. The album that had Hard Knock Life on it.
Yeah.
And that's the album that really launched Jigga.
Having my first exposure to Freddy, Be Freddy's Dead in 1991, even though I saw it in 93 on VHS, the same day I watched Child's Play 3 for the first time I saw Chucky, and WrestleMania 9 on pay-per-view the day before. Can we talk about a traumatizing day for 9-year-old Jeff? Yeah, or 10-year-old Jeff. Yeah, thank you for that. Therapy was
Couldn't have been that traumatizing. Hulk Hogan was the champion again.
I saw Bobby Heenan's underwear on camera after he was on a camel backwards. Shut the hell up. No.
The Undertaker came out with a vulture, and arguably the greatest entrance of that shitastic pay-per-view.
Yes.
And Hulk Hogan was the champion again for you.
There were a few
Hindsight 2020 was the bad call, but for young Jeff Meacham, the Hulkamaniac brother, his champion was back with the gold, dude.
That's right. And even 10-year-old Jeff was like, man, them babes with the narcissist is looking good up in Vegas with the mirrors. There you go. That thong, I thought even the Macho Man was digging the ladies. Yeah. And of course, our buddy Stagger Lee was at that show live. God bless him and his dad for having to do that shit in person.
Hey, Stagger Lee was at 9. I was at 21. Hindsight, neither one of them were the greatest, but they had high spots.
I was at 2000. High spots was the only thing that was good about that show.
But we digress.
Yes, buy this shirt. Watch those shows on the network if you dare. But man, they took a chance with New Nightmare. They really did, because Freddy's Dead kind of ended it definitively, yes, because Freddy was most certainly dead. But it was like he died because they stuck a stick of dynamite in his torso and he blew up. Like, that's how they killed Freddy? What a bitch way to go. Like,
I agree with that. I mean, Freddy kind of went out the equivalent to Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi, you know.
Straight up bitch move, right? And then, shit, it took him 30 years to bring Boba back. I also love New Nightmare because it takes place in 1994 in Los Angeles, and they're dealing with the aftermath of the Northridge earthquake, which was affected so many of us that were alive back then.
Yeah,
that earthquake,
was a good touch.
Yeah, their earthquake, with all due respect to the censors of YouTube, that earthquake fucked shit up out here. Okay.
I love how you're trying to appease the censors of YouTube. Like, I didn't drop the F-bomb how many times 2 weeks ago? Harvey fucking Whippleman.
We love you, Bruno. We really do.
No shit. Like, I aside from this, I will never give Harvey crap.
No,
aside from ever being the women's champion and then coming out the next night looking like the Wish version of the Sandman, holding the title up in the air.
Right? Like, damn, Harvey, at least try.
But the fact that he was the women's champion.
Well, we were talking about something we're passionate about. We're women's wrestling.
Harvey fucking Whippleman, if you missed it.
And we do talk about Bruno on this show, just not that one. We love you, Bruno. Man, God bless you for that promo all those years ago. Anyway. Oh, God. It's almost as bad as the Sid leg break and Paul Roma. Well, just Paul Roma. Anyway, there you go. But he's still a horseman because life is not fair. Anyway.
As is Jeff J-E-F-F.
That's right.
J-A-R-R-E-T-T. And Meacham acknowledged it as if he was right. Roman Reigns.
It is on Twitter and everything. Okay.
You can't tell me Cena's not hardcore and not willing to do any damn thing to get the company over, man. Good Lord have mercy. He's crazy. He's legit crazy.
I have never said an ill word about Cena, the businessman, the person, right. The man outside of the ring.
Yes.
I have only ever said an ill word about John Cena, the performer, because there's so many times when he should have lost and he didn't. And right. At the end of the day, that booking, along with the booking of Batista and Hunter and even Orton to a sense, is what made me stop watching.
Right.
You Very think true. About all of the next generation that should have been put over. You know, we've talked about it in the entrances show, how Nexus should have gone over. Rusev should have gone over. Bray should have gone over. Stuff like that is what turned me off. because those guys that were going to be there the next 5-10 years after they hung up their boots, I live and die by this. I'm never going to leave. I'm making fun of you, Rocky, for going to Hollywood, and now I'm in Hollywood and I'm not there like I said I would always be, and I'm a hypocrite now.
Yeah.
Sandman and Raven from '96.
Yeah, God. Anytime those two, I mean, granted, some of their stuff was very, on the Meltzer scale, very much a dud. But just the emotion.
This was when we were getting to that Lori and Tyler story. So,
I mean, God, Paul, I won't disagree with Paul on most things. I'm not going to lie. But this one in particular, when he talks about it was the most emotional thing they ever did, it was. You've got this cult leader turning a wife and a son, a wife and a mother and their son against a father. It does not get more real than that shit.
Nah.
It just doesn't.
No.
It doesn't matter if the match is a negative 5-star non-classic. You're not gonna not get wrapped up in that shit.
Hey, you paying attention? Paul, Hunter, I know you watch. Sean, hello? Have Joe Gacy watch some old ECW Raven shit. That's your homework assignment. You're welcome.
Especially with the generational talent he has in his stable now.
But I think it was RVD getting up there, as botchy as it was for that 5-star frog splash, that just kind of made us go, okay, I don't know if this is something they can do again. But then they've done it so many times that they ended up with its own pay-per-view.
Well, yeah, but keep in mind, Jay, when he went with the 5-star frog splash, he freaking destroyed Hunter's trachea.
Which, not exactly a bad thing, depending on where you're looking at it. It just means we can't get a game promo for about 3 weeks. Damn it.
Wow. I love it.
You got a line, but you're not wrong. Anyway.
Yeah.
And that's around the time that he had Flair with him anywhere, so it's not like Nate couldn't have cut the promos for Hunter.
Oh, there you go. Let's at least 2002 Ric Flair cutting a promo about Hunter having no voice. Let's throw that into the universe. Good grief. I couldn't even go out and drink all night with him because he couldn't swallow. Woo! Jesus. No swallow jokes in the crowd. Shut up out there, you dirty bastards.
None at all. Match number
this is the most
4.
visceral Dad's ever done. It's all Mikey's fault, clearly.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Me for everything. Why don't? It's always my fault.
Always.
When in doubt, blame the.
Sorry, we got the reverse Snitsky here. With Snitsky, it wasn't his fault. With Statboy, it's always his fault.
Well,
Continue, Statboy.
Yeah.
As long as Mikey didn't start punting freaking baby dolls across his apartment, we're in good shape. Anyway.
I don't have any. Match number 4.
I bet you he could punt a baby doll better than the Titans can kick a field goal. But I digress.
Buy this shirt.
Oh, that's.
Buy this shirt and give the funds to the Titans so they can actually hire a kicker. Anyway, there you go.
I'm gonna make a hot take here, and I want the public out here that's listening to this to seriously sit and think about it before they rebuttal me. Okay, because you've got to keep time and generations in perspective here. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is our generation's White Christmas. You think about the popularity of the singer. You think about how long the song has endured. You think about the fact that All I Want for Christmas Is You is the #1 Christmas song ever, according to Billboard. We discussed that last year.
Yes.
All I Want for Christmas Is You is our generation's White Christmas. Think about it before you rebuttal against me.
Our generation? Yes. Particular households is definitely a subjective, debatable topic. So,
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's as good as, I'm not saying it's better than. It is our
no.
generation's White Christmas.
I only say what I said the argument wise because even when it was still new, it got very little play in our house or in our cars, for grace of God.
I can understand that. Again, if you want to throw the ticker back up there, subjective, different strokes, different folks.
Yes.
But, and again,
either way. Right.
I'm not saying it's better than, greater than, any of that. As good as. You look at the time, you look at the generations, you look at the longevity, you look at the staying power, you look at how many people cover it. It is our generation's White Christmas.
It wouldn't be so lampooned and so shit on if it wasn't played as much as it was and heard by so many people on generation as it was. So that's the argument right there. That's the statement.
It's funny you mentioned this is a modernization of Taming of the Shrew. And the reason I say it's interesting is because how often have you, as a critic to a certain extent, and how much has the mass Hollywood media bitched about there's no new ideas in Hollywood, there's no new ideas in creative literature? How old is Shakespeare? 1600s, 1500s? This movie's what, 1999? That's 23 years ago. I didn't hear that bitching back then.
Nor a couple years later when she did O, which was a modern telling of Othello.
So blatantly Othello was that movie, right?
Hell, The Lion King is Hamlet.
Lion King's yeah, the point I'm trying to make is people, there's nothing new in Hollywood. It's like, you know what? There's nothing new in the world, man.
Yeah.
Shakespeare wrote it all, bitches.
Disney made its bread and butter by stealing Aesop and Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah. And what they didn't take from those two, they borrowed from Shakespeare, like The Lion King. So,
or Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah. So it's not that there's nothing new. It's just the stuff that's being rehashed is about as fresh as freaking day old hash browns. It's useless.
It takes something that is as old and outdated and by a lot of people's perspectives stale as Shakespeare.
Yep.
And to bring it into 1999, 2000, 2001 and modernize it to where a new generation can see the story the same, but have it be more modernized.
It's one thing to flat out remake something original. It's another thing to, as I said, take it, tweak it enough where you don't. I had no idea this Taming of the Shrew until you just said it right now. Here we are, February 18th, 2022. No idea that was a thing. So that's the difference. There aren't new things in Hollywood. You're right. There aren't new things in creative literature, period. It's a matter of taking what works and tweaking it to make it work now. Exactly. That's all movies and television are, folks. That's it.
There's your hot take from Jeff Meacham right here on the Jeff Meacham.
And if you really want to get into the meat and taters of things, that's all wrestling ever needs to be.
Yep.
That's right.
Mickey Mouse, the mouse that started it all.
That's right. It's
But yeah, I mean, it all started with the mouse. Technically, it all started with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Yes.
If we really want to get technical, but WWE is not the only one that does revisionist history.
That's right.
Like that fateful day in August of 2004 when Randy Orton approached the ring in those god-awful peach tights, found the World Heavyweight Championship laying in the floor, picked it up, climbed the turnbuckle, and began posing with it.
Took that poor belt 5 months to float there from Madison Square Garden. That belt's a trooper, darn it. You're finally gonna get. We're finally getting Scott Calvin back. Let's just not even gloss over it, man. I'm looking forward to that.
We're finally getting Bernard back.
You know what? I thank you because every clip I've seen, including the trailer I included, the little Caesar, every clip I've seen or reaction I've seen, they are on about Bernard being back as they should be.
Because you know what? Because you know what? I can't believe I'm going to say this with Christmas, but fuck Curtis.
Oh man, I like Curtis. I do.
Let me. I'm gonna break it down like this. Okay, this is
Okay.
why I say fuck Curtis. Okay,
Okay.
and being as how you are a Santa Claus proprietor, you should be able to co-sign with me on this.
All right, fair
Okay.
enough.
Number one, it was his idea to make the toy Santa that damn near caused chaos and took over the North Pole.
Okay.
Number two, he's the one that told Jack the secret to the snow globes that completely altered history.
Yeah.
So you tell me where Curtis did a goddamn thing that was and number three, in the beginning of part two, he's the one listening to the freaking music that almost gave away the location of the North Pole. Where did Curtis do anything that was endearing or lovable or any kind of good? Whereas Bernard took Charlie under his wing. He knew how Scott always referred to him as Sport, called him Sport himself, without having to be told, because elves, much like Santa, are all knowing. He cultivated Charlie. He educated Charlie. He helped Charlie grow and get closer back to his dad and mend that fence that had been broken for so long. Your Honor, I rest my case.
The following statement by Jeff Meacham does not reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company or any of its subsidiaries. Yeah, fuck Curtis. Okay. You're not wrong.
Hey,
Okay.
Yeah,
will-
number one for me is the Mickey Mouse Club March.
Yes.
I will say this though. You grew up on the repeats. You must have had a very repetitive childhood because according to Disney Plus, there's only 5 episodes of that show.
Well, see, back in my day, Sonny, before there was a Disney Plus and there was a Disney Channel, they showed them all.
Oh,
Yes.
I know.
I don't know why only those 5 are on Disney Plus. I think it's because when they made those Walt Disney Treasures metal tin sets, they did a Mickey Mouse Club set that had the first week. So I think that's why those are the ones on theirs, because those were kind of remastered, cleaned up for the digital presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to go through all the hours of that stuff to clean them up may just be too tedious of a task. But if you're watching out there, Disney executives, hello, we're talking to you. There are people out there like us, our parents' generations, that will watch that stuff.
Yes.
And all of us will show it to our kids, our grandkids, to expose them to it. You know why? You know why? Come here. Because it's that fucking awesome.
Why? Because we love them.
Yes.
MOUSE.
Having gotten to know this woman so long over the last 10 years now, I just go,
Yes.
what the shit, WWE? Like, seriously?
Katie Lee Winter, was one of the people that I loved when she was in the company, and I always thought she got a raw deal.
Very much so. Oh.
And just like Jeff, man, getting to work with her when she was doing her stuff with Wild, doing the interview with her before she went to go fight Tara?
Tara Calloway, yeah. Yep.
All right, we're standing by with Winter. Winter, are you ready for your big match tonight with Tara?
I was ready this morning when I woke up. I think I told somebody that already, by the way.
Okay, what can the fans look forward to tonight in your match? Anything special?
The fans can look forward to tonight. Basically, me just beating up Tara Calloway, holding on to this title. Unfortunately for the fans, it's going to be pretty much over in a jiffy. It's going to be a pretty quick thing, I think, because as we all know, Tara Calloway cannot hold a candle to me.
Do you think you're underestimating your challenger at all? I mean, she is the North American champion.
Are you underestimating me?
Absolutely not. Hope you guys enjoy the match.
Having her get in my face,
right?
When I'm interviewing her and trying to act scared without getting slightly aroused, and her getting in my face like she did, was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because I'm standing there, I'm interviewing her regarding her match, and I'm asking her, are you underestimating Tara?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
she just leans in there to my face and is like, "Are you underestimating me?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "No, ma'am. I definitely am not underestimating you."
Yeah, it's like when you're going in defending the world title, you got some punk interviewer going underestimating the challenger. It's like, yeah, Tara was North American champion, yes, so she had that number one contender status. So there's a reason she was challenging Winter, Cat, whatever. But yeah, it was a cool night. I will say that, and it showed that you could have a promotion of one match as part of one show put on this lady's back, and it was a great ride that we took. Yeah. It was our last stand, I'm not going to lie, but it was still a fun last quarter of 2011. It was really a good time.
What a way to go out.
Right? Seriously, good stuff. God damn, I love that new opening. Fucking hell.